This meeting is being live streamed. Got it.
Got it. Oh, it's working.
Yay.
I want to
Yes.
see that on.
Meeting is being live streamed. Got it. Okay, I have to wait. I have to turn. Hold on. I got to turn the sound off on my.
Okay. How can
on
people
my YouTube?
Oh.
How do I? Oh God! How do I turn the sound? Okay, there. All right, good. I had to turn the sound off on my YouTube so I can see the comments, and so I don't get feedback, because there is like a 20-second delay.
I was hearing it. I was like, "What is that?"
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Yes, it's there.
Yay!
Because I'm watching it.
Yay!
That's cool. That's cool. Wow, I'm like fascinated with it right now.
I know. All right. Hi, everybody. We're live.
Everybody, we're live.
We're live on YouTube. We're new to this technology. And I was just telling Ida, I'm getting like self-conscious, like, I was on TikTok. Okay, let me tell this story real quick. No. Before I tell this story, welcome to Delusional Confidence. This is a podcast by Ida, the Chilling Therapist, and Emily's Root Awakening. We are both entrepreneurs in the self-development industry, and we're kind of doing the coaching thing, and we're talking about all the stuff that goes into gradual success as an entrepreneur. And we will have all our shit linked below soon enough. And welcome. And we don't plan what we're going to talk about. It's basically just a conversation between Ida and I. And but we love when you guys comment. So comment, even if you're watching the replay, comment, and we'll answer you and connect with you. And Ida, what do you have to say about that?
I'm just fascinated with the fact that I'm only seeing you, but we're live streaming as well. So I'm like in awe at the moment. I'm like, oh, okay. Yeah. Wow, technology, we've come far. But yeah, it's interesting. What do I want to say? I think you said it beautifully, Em. You said it beautifully, and I'm just curious to see what's going to come up today for us. As you said, it just happens. We just talk about whatever comes up. So yeah, I'm in a state of curiosity. Looking forward to be surprised.
That's an amazing state to be in. We like the curiosity state.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Do you have anything on your mind?
Yeah. So one more thing. We record our episodes live. We used to record on Instagram Live. That fucked up. That whole situation got fucked up. We lost some episodes, you guys. So that's why we are recording here on YouTube live stream, because we want to interact with you guys live. We want you guys to see a live conversation. But after the live stream is done, we upload the audio of this episode to all podcast platforms. So you can come to YouTube and join us live. You can watch the replay and see our faces, which also is really, I think it's more user-friendly to watch the replay video on YouTube as well. And you can go to podcast platforms like Apple Podcasts. God damn, all this technology. Apple Podcasts, fucking Stitcher. We're on Spotify. We're gonna be on Amazon Music. We're not on Amazon Music yet, but we will soon. But all the big ones, like, you guys, you'll find us. So just so you know, you have options on how to interact with us. And okay, so let me tell this like little technology bit here.
Okay, good.
So like, I wake up this morning and I don't keep an alarm clock, so I don't know what time it is. So on my Delusional Confidence recording day, which is today, I know that I'm in Michigan, Ghana, Ida's in Ghana. So we have a time difference. So because of that time difference, we decided to record at 12:30 p.m. my time, 5:30 p.m. Ida's time. I sometimes don't wake up till near noon. Usually I will not sleep past noon, but I don't keep an alarm clock. Sometimes I wake up pretty close to noon. So I'm like, fuck, I gotta like make sure and see what time it is, because
I'm laughing because there was a man behind you.
I know. And I drive to a park. So much information, you guys. I drive to a parking lot and I do these episode recordings in my car. I just like to record in my car. I have a lot of inspiration and I can like scream in my car. I don't know. For some reason, it's less weird for me to scream in my car. Okay. So anyway, so I had to check my phone right when I woke up because I was like, I don't know what fucking time it is. Like, maybe I missed the podcast episode. I don't know. I go on my phone and I go on TikTok because I noticed I did not sleep past the podcast episode. So someone has responded to my comment with a video on TikTok. And I know that people can do that. I just joined TikTok like recently. I know that people can do that, but no one's ever done it to me. I just joined TikTok. And it was so amazing. She it was a really beautiful like story that she was telling me. But I had no idea what the fuck I was doing. I only follow Ida on TikTok. I accidentally follow this girl and I'm like, and I love her content. It's amazing. I just have this weird thing where I like only follow Ida on TikTok. She recommended that I would come on TikTok and I don't really like scrolling on TikTok because it's overwhelming for me. So I love the people on there, but I just follow Ida. So I'm like, fuck, I'm gonna unfollow her, but I just followed her. So it looks weird. And then I try to comment on her video and it like wasn't working out. And I was like, oh my God, so self-conscious because I was just like kind of embarrassed, and it's not necessary to be embarrassed, but that's just how I felt. And I was like, oh my God, I'm like looking like such an old person. And I'm like, Emily, do not start with that narrative because I'm 31 now, so a lot of people have the thing with like, oh my God, I'm 30 now. And I totally don't. To me, age is so just a number, but sometimes I catch myself doing this narrative of like, oh my God, I'm like old and embarrassing and I don't know the technology that so many people know so well, so I want to share that with you guys that was going through my head today, and I was laughing about it, but I told Ida before we started recording, I'm like, I'm gonna journal on this tonight because I need to get it out of my head that like I should be self-conscious about not knowing every realm of technology. Ida, do you feel like that ever?
Yes. However, I just kind of pass it on to people I know can do it. So just like me and you, when I got to Canva and I got to a point, I'm like, okay, I'm stuck. I don't know what to do. Help. But I don't internalize it like, oh, I'm old and I don't know. And I'm pretty like, I'm not attached to that stuff, thankfully, because we're attached to so many things. I don't want to be attached to that too. So I'm glad that I don't need to worry about that. If I don't know, usually I'll go on YouTube and research or Google if it's really important that I find out. So I don't really, but I do hear you, and I know that it can be. And I also think because you're really good at that, you design, it's not like your, full-time job, but it's something that you enjoy and something that you do. So I get why it'd mean a bit more to you to know how to kind of use certain technologies. So it's totally understandable. Like, it's kind of like, oh my goodness, this is something that I enjoy doing from time to time. Because I know someone reached out to you recently to design for them. And so I kind of feel like, it's normal for you to think, oh my God, like, what if I can't keep up? And there's like all these technologies that I may need in future. Who knows? Because you're always experimenting. Who knows if that's where you're going into next? And, so it's totally normal. Like, don't even let it. I think it's totally normal because it's something that you do enjoy doing. So I see why you feel the way you feel about it.
That's such a good point. And also because I teach my students how to set up that tech and type B business school, like how to set up your business. So, but here's the thing, there will be a time that, unless I totally flip the script on my life trajectory, could happen, but there will be a time where I won't be able to keep up with the technology, because here's the thing, like, I like technology to support like what I directly do, but other than that, I'm not interested in technology. Like, I don't like robots, I don't like AI, I don't like the parts of AI that don't make my coaching life and my career easier. Like, I don't just like have technology in my life. I don't have an Apple Watch. You know what I'm saying? So like, there will be a time where I'll be like, it'll be beyond me. And I'm just gonna have to be like okay with that, you know?
Exactly.
So that'll be cool. And that's like fine. Like, there's nothing wrong with
Really
that.
fun.
So,
You can employ other people,
yes.
who are good with it. Hopefully we're at a point in our life where it's like, it's not even a thing. Like, hopefully we're at a point in our life where we don't even want to do that. We don't even have to do that part, because like there's a big team running stuff, and it's like we don't have to worry about, you know, that part. We get to like do more of the things that we love more of and want to focus on. So
Yeah, that I love that point too. And in the meantime, it's true, Ida and I work really, really well together, because you also know some tech stuff that I didn't know. Like, Ida figured out how to get our fucking Instagram
oh, yeah,
live videos saved to our phones, because we
thanks to
couldn't do
Google.
that.
Thanks to Google and YouTube. I was like, thanks to Google and YouTube. I was like, how do I? Nah. Someone's like, yeah, you do this, and then you do that. You go on this site, and then you put the link, and then I was like,
Yeah.
I enjoyed figuring that out, you know.
Yeah.
So yeah, that worked out. That worked out. But how you feeling? Clearly, I'm like, you know, I'm in that state, that mellow state. But I want to check in with you.
You seem less mellow and more upbeat than last time.
Okay.
How do you feel like that's true?
I feel like the more we're talking, I'm sinking into that mellow feeling. But I think that's just because a topic hasn't come up that sparks me yet. If something comes up and I'm like, ooh, you know, I'll get there.
Yeah. Okay. I'm doing good. Yeah, it's definitely an interesting time right now. I'm like figuring out a lot of stuff, but very transformative. Like things are very honestly, I feel like I'm in a standoff with the universe right now, but I journaled on it yesterday, and I'm on a standoff really with myself. It's not the universe. But it's good. It's like things are getting very hectic, or like tight. It's kind of like I'm at the end of the line here. That's what it feels like. Like things are tight. I've had a lot of expenses come up in the past month, and finances are like we're tight, we're stretching, but then all of these things are coming up, like my phone bill just got paid without me paying it, like 2 days ago. I'm like, what? I'm like searching. I'm like, wait, what do you mean my bill is all set for this month? Like, I did not pay it, but it says paid. So anyway, I don't know. We'll see how that develops. But like, a lot of these weird things are happening. Like, I'm finding money in weird places. And the thing is, this happened back in October. Ida, I don't know if you remember or not, but I told Ida about it again. I'm like, you guys, I told Ida and Rosalie, our friend, about it. I'm like, things are like stretching. Like, it just feels like I'm kind of getting, okay, we could talk about this later. Ida, I don't think you believe in us being tested by the universe. Is that right?
We still get to explore it, like whether I believe it or not, bring it to the floor.
Okay. I don't know either, because this was a manifestation technique that I used to study until I kind of like created my own and meshed different pieces of research together on my own, but I used to study to be magnetic, and they're all about like the universe will test you before your manifestation comes in, and it's kind of like you prove to the universe that you're worthy by making high self-worth decisions. So but right now it kind of feels like the universe is like, bam, what do you think about this expense? Oh, what if you have to do this expense? Oh, what if you can't pay this bill yet and you have to wait to pay? What's going to happen? Are you going to buckle, or are you going to hide, or are you going to message the company and say like, hey, can I have a couple more days on this bill? What are you going to do? Or what are you going to do? Like, what are you going to do? So I feel like these things have been stretched, and I'm not going to go into it because I think it would be a boring story, but just very coincidental, like little annoyances, things that could annoy me. Like I'm trying to find this one business card of like, yeah, something related to my car. I have like a question to ask them. And I'm trying to find this one business card, and that business card like flew off and fell in this little nook and where I can't get it. It's just all of these, it's making me laugh because it's all of these synchronicities that's really stretching me in my comfort zone. And so that's where I am right now. So it kind of feels like the universe is testing me, but I also, I believe heavily in mindset and narrative. And I think if I believe the universe is going to test me, then it will. If I believe that I don't have to be tested by the universe to get what I want, then maybe I won't be tested by the universe. So I'm exploring that right now. But here's the thing, I'm in the best of spirits. It's crazy. Like I'm feeling phenomenal. Just stretched.
Okay, I love how you put it. You feel good, but just stretched. You wouldn't be delusional if you were not in that position. The question with whether I believe in, I think it's going to be similar to our views on sacrifice. Yeah. In terms of, I think it's going to be about how we view it. So I think for me, I don't believe that, God is necessarily testing us. I think how I'm beginning to see it is we put our hand up. It sounds like, okay, let me just finish. I kind of feel like we ask, okay, so we might journal, we might tell ourselves that this is the type of person that we want to be, right? And then we're offered opportunities to show up as that person, but we asked for it. So it's kind of like, if today you set an intention that, hey, I want to be a millionaire, for instance, and I'm going to do whatever it takes to be a millionaire, then you're put in a millionaire's decision-making path. You're put in a millionaire's, inspired action path. It's like, okay, all of a sudden, it's like, now what would you do? Like, you're in this position, be a millionaire. What would a millionaire do right now? And I believe that's something that we ask for. That's why I kind of don't want to view it as we're being tested, because it's kind of like, if you ask for something and it's given to you, it's like you asked for it and you got it. And so for me, it's kind of like, that's the path to it. So it's like there are two ways you can take. You can take left or right, and you decided to take right. Now, taking right comes with like, these decisions that you got to make in order to get to the end. You could have chosen to take left, and then you'd have to make different decisions, because someone who hasn't decided to be a millionaire doesn't have to go through what you're going through. They don't have to worry about, like, they're not setting up, courses that is costing them extra dollars. They're just worried about, okay, what am I going to eat tomorrow? Okay, I go to my job. It's 9 to 5. It's this. It's pretty straightforward. It's predictable. But I'm sure many millionaires would tell you that their life is not predictable, because any moment you're forced to make a decision, at any moment. And I think this reminds me of, like, I was recently watching an interview with Elon Musk. I happen to like his mind quite a bit, how he thinks. And, the interviewer was kind of alluding to the fact that, Elon made bad decisions with Tesla, but Elon, the way he answered it, he's like, it got to a point I was sleeping, like it got to a point, it was like a do or die situation, and I needed to sleep on the floor at work with my workers because I didn't want them to see me sleeping in like a penthouse when things were difficult. I wanted them to see that we're all in it together. And for me, I feel like he could be like, oh my God, the universe is testing me. But for him in that moment, he's like, no, I'm a leader. And, I'm a leader of this company and I want this company to succeed. Therefore, in this moment, what decision can I make in order for this company to succeed? And for me, I feel like it's an opportunity to become who you are and to show more of who you are, because you're asking to become this person. So really, it's an opportunity to become who you've asked to become, who you've decided to be. That's how I see it.
Do I need to hire you as my coach? Like, this is the best outlook on the situation I've ever fucking heard. I have never looked at it like this. I've never, I mean, in a way, yes, but like, this is how this conversation differs from the struggle, or not the struggle, the sacrifice conversation. Yeah. Listen to our last episode, you guys. It's genius. Like, I could clickbait you and say Ida and I argue about something. We don't really argue. I kind of clickbait you in the show notes, but we don't argue. We discuss it, but we end the episode on like, we do not agree to a certain extent, like to a certain extent, we see it differently. This, I'm like, I love this mindset. Let's go for it. To me, that sounds much more empowering than the universe is testing me. I'm going to stand up with the universe. And like, because I already knew I don't want to be like fighting with, I don't want to be on a stand up with the universe. Maybe I'm on a stand up with myself. I don't want to be on a stand up with the universe. So I don't want to be on a stand up with myself. So like, what you're saying is so much more empowering and real, and like such a great opportunity to like, I mean, I am stepping up. That's why I didn't mention when this happened back in October, I buckled under the pressure, which I don't regret. It was meant to happen, but it got me actually in therapy, which part of the reason I started going to therapy, it's been amazing. So it was meant to happen, but I buckled in the sense that I repeated an old pattern. And I'm deciding not to do that this time. And shit's getting sweaty in here because of that. But looking at it from a sense of, well, what are you going to do if you want to be a millionaire? And guess what, you guys, I've written in my journal, I've said this out loud to God on hikes many times. I said, God, I will do whatever it takes to be a millionaire. I'll do whatever it takes. And not just to be a millionaire, but to be a millionaire doing what I want to do, to be a millionaire helping people, being a millionaire while helping other people become millionaires. Okay, I am loving, like, I want you guys to hear and like rewind if necessary to hear how Ida has transformed this situation. Because Ida, would you say this is sometimes your attitude towards your clients when you help them?
Definitely. But it all just comes naturally, like literally, I didn't even know that was the response I was going to give you. So that's why I was kind of talking about feeding off of the energy. So obviously I have like the general concept, but when you ask me the question, then I go into processing mode, and then things come up as I process, I'm trying to find this quote because I think this quote sums up how I view what you said. So I found it. It says, I asked God for strength, and God gave me difficulties to make me strong. I asked God for wisdom, and God gave me problems to solve. I asked God for courage, and God gave me struggle to overcome. I asked for favors, and God gave me opportunities. I received nothing I wanted, but I received everything I needed. So for me, that's how I kind of see. So it's like when you're asking, like here, it's like when you're asking God for, this favor of, okay, God, I've decided, blah, blah, blah. It's like, okay, great. because I think sometimes we're expecting that when we pray or we put an intention into the universe, it's just gonna like you ask for a car and then you're gonna get a car. Sometimes it happens, sometimes it happens, but sometimes maybe you don't end up getting a car. You end up meeting someone who, you befriend, and then they take you through somewhere and something happens and you end up seeing this car. They're like, oh my God, that's a car I want. Like, it's not always straightforward, but it's still, for me, an answered prayer, and an answered prayer is an opportunity to stand up and be what you asked for,
Woo!
And you're basically being given opportunities to stand up and be what you asked for.
Woo,
the more you decide, the more you're deciding, the more you're getting closer. The more you're deciding, every decision is getting you closer. Because remember, this is something that I love so much, like the concept of, what you do with $1 is what you're going to do with $1 million. So if you're not doing much with the dollar you have right now, what are you going to do with the $1 million? So right now that you're in this situation, the decisions you're making is going to be the decisions you need to make when you're a millionaire. There might be times where you need to, like Elon, I don't even know how, at a point, he had to empty out his bank account to put it into Tesla. Who does that? But he had to make a decision in that moment and decide that, this is what I've asked for. I've asked to be the person who brings about, an energy powered car. And if I'm going to do this, I need to sacrifice. Well, I know you don't like to use the word sacrifice, but he's like, I need to decide to put all the money in my account. Talk about delusional. And it worked. But he didn't know in that moment whether it was going to work or not. He just made a decision as the millionaire that he is, and as the leader who is leading this revolution of electric cars.
Wow. Okay, let's fucking talk about this, because I thought I disliked Elon Musk, and now I am not disliking him very much after listening to these.
When you watch, yeah, go for it.
Well, I just wanted to give the audience a little background. I only look into very specific people in pop culture. I don't really follow. I don't watch the news. I totally disengage from politics. I'm kind of a conspiracy theorist a little bit, you guys. Those of you who are in my Instagram community, that I trust what I hear from the civilian's mouth over what I'm reading in the paper or what I'm seeing on the news, because I have seen different data than is always presented in studies. So whether you agree with me or not, that is how I look at the world, and I accept however you decide to look at the world. I don't usually keep up on what is going on in life, and I keep up on what I'm interested in. So the most I know about Elon Musk is that I've seen 1/4 of his episode on Joe Rogan, and I didn't find him very likable. Right. So let's hear about your thoughts on him, Ida, because I am loving what I'm hearing about. I mean, to sleep on the floor because you didn't want your employees, like, who the fuck is this guy, going back to his penthouse and sleeping, like, to do the dirty work with your employees when the time is needed. That's so respectable to me. So, like, well, how is your relationship to Elon developed?
So for me, I love brilliant minds, but not brilliant in a sense of, mathematics and science and stuff. Like, people who think outside the box, or people who are out. And for me, Elon is out of this world. I only learned from the last interview I watched of him that he has Asperger's. I didn't know that. And so I was like, oh, okay, that's something new to learn about him. However, every interview I listen to of him, he's trying to kind of, the word is not defend himself, because it looks like media present him one way. Because in this particular interview I watched, the interviewer was like, yeah, but this and this and this happened. And he was like, no, you're seeing it this way, but I'm there. I was the one sleeping on the floor with them. I was the one. And he was like, no, you're not seeing me. You're not seeing what I'm actually doing. I mean, what fascinated me, because a lot of people, and I'm sure you're going to appreciate this, a lot of people, you know, well, let me back up. This society had gotten to a point where, you know, this cancel culture where you speak your mind and you're blocked, you're canceled. Everyone cancels you. So obviously Twitter was canceling people. Donald Trump was canceled. I think Kanye, a few people were canceled. And Elon thought, no, like that's a problem, because we need a future where there's free speech. We need a future where people can freely speak their minds. Whether you agree with it or not, that's a different conversation.
Right.
But not for us to censor people. You know, we need to get to a place where you don't like someone, you don't like what they say, but you're able to tolerate it, because that's what it is. You're not going to like everybody, but that doesn't mean people can't share their opinion. And so that's why he decided to buy Twitter. So that, so that he can bring back free speech and unblock all the people who have been censored and blocked on Twitter, because he believes that regardless of whether or not we like people or we like their point of view, they need to be able to express themselves, which I really appreciate, you know? And the interviewer was even asking him questions of, okay, so where do we draw the line of free speech? Like, what if someone says something that's like so outrageous, or they're inciting fear or war or something like that? How are you gonna deal with that? And I love his response, because he's like, we're gonna correct it. We're gonna have a technology that will be able to correct it, but we're not gonna delete the comment, because we want people to know that this is how we rectified it. But the original comment still stands, and people can come in and be like, okay, this was the original comment, this was how we dealt with it, and this is now the resolution, and this is how we're moving forward, instead of like just deleting it and acting like it never existed. And for me, I feel like I would love society to go to that. Like if that's where society is headed, I'll be excited, because it shows me that, you know, he's thinking about, okay, correction and not punishment necessarily. It's like, okay, someone did something wrong, they put out a comment that was hurtful. Now, whether or not they apologize, maybe they didn't apologize. So we took these steps, but these steps are there as well as the original, so that you can go in and form your own opinion. We're not deleting anything and leaving half truths for you to decide, or for you to, like, we're not presenting, we want to show you the whole truth, and you can decide what you want to do with it. And for me, I love that. Like, if all media houses were doing this, then the truth will be obvious, like it'll be out there, and we get to decide what's right or wrong, instead of like them presenting us one side. You know, Elon is aiming to get Twitter to a place where it's gonna present, you know, your side, my side, and the truth, and people get to decide, which I love. Obviously, he did talk about the challenges it's gonna pose. He knows that he's gonna make mistakes along the way, and he's not expecting perfection. And this is something he said. He's like, I know I'm gonna screw up. I know that, but I'm still not gonna give up, because I believe in free speech. And for me, that's the kind of person that I kind of want to listen to, you know? So that's what's making me take a liking to him, because I like the way he thinks. I really like the way he thinks. He's a bit weird and awkward, but he knows that. That's just who he is. You know, I mean, at a very young age, like when kids were playing, he was programming. He was reading like music, you know, so it's normal for him to be the way he is. He does have a condition that he kind of, you know, I wouldn't even say struggle with. He's found a way to like use it to benefit him and show up and be awkward and still share his beautiful mind. And for me, that's where I stand with him. It's not a matter of do I agree with him or not. I like his mind. I like the way he thinks. I like that when he does something wrong, he's able to admit it. Because one powerful question that was asked was, you know, a lot of people are asking, how can we entrust such a big thing as free speech in the hands of one of the world's most richest people. And he's so funny. He's like, I mean, well, Zuckerberg owns Facebook, Instagram, you name it, WhatsApp, everything. I mean, and I felt like the answer, exactly, because he's trying to say, well, at least I'm trying, and I'm trying to be transparent here. I'm gonna screw up, but I'm trying. Like, but how is the others trying to be transparent? You know? But yeah, that's exactly what I, you know, and these are from my own personal opinions from watching different parts of him and watching interviews about his mom talking about him, who he is, and like his journey, you know. So that's how I've been able to piece together this particular opinion. But obviously people change, and my mind will change as and when, if, you know, he evolves. But I guess I'm willing to evolve with him and see where he goes. I don't agree with every single thing he wants to do, but I like his mind.
Cool. Yep. Love it. Love it. I love how you say it's not whether I agree with him or not, you just appreciate how he approaches situations, you know, and like you appreciate him from an objective point of view of how he's handling being such a powerful person in some respects, you know. I love it. I'm gonna look into him more. But yeah, I don't like what the approach of like going to Mars and all this stuff is just not really in my belief system at this time. So I believe like, well, that's a big thing for me to not be like down with, you know? So like, but I like how you say it's not, we're just talking about who he is, how he handles situations, not necessarily everything he's trying to build. So from that perspective, oh yeah, I could appreciate a lot about, I mean, I can appreciate a lot about anyone who is very successful, even if they're a fucking sociopath, crazy person, criminal. Like, wow, that's actually genius. Like sociopaths are geniuses, you know, they just hurt a lot of people. But it's not like I equate him to that. I don't know enough about him. I don't think that he might be a I don't know. I just, whatever. It seems like he's trying to do his best based on what you're saying, Ida, with the power that he has. And let me tell you something. If I could decide between Zuckerberg, who is like super, what do you say, moderating everything. He's what's the word? Like he's like, it's not it is moderating, but it's a different word. But yeah, he's what?
Meddling?
No, like I think it starts with a C, whatever. Mark Zuckerberg.
Censoring.
Yes, censoring everything. So one-sided. If I have to choose between that and Elon Musk, who's like, I'm not going to censor a lot of stuff that would normally be censored, then I would choose that. Nothing. There you go.
And he knows it's going to be. That's his goal.
There's got to be something against like super violent stuff, right?
Yes. So again, he said he's figuring out a way, but even if it was super violent, you know, I don't know how he's going to do it, but how he explained it. Some like, you know how now YouTube, Instagram and all of that will put like an age and like a viewer discretion.
Yeah.
Where like, okay, the original videos, you need to decide if you want to go there or not. So giving the autonomy to the individual to decide instead of deleting it.
Yeah.
Because he feels like deleting it is not the whole story.
Yeah.
Because then you deleted a part of the story. Many people may not agree with it, but I kind of feel like the whole story is there, but it's sealed. You get to go and open it. It's kind of like, you know, how we watch movies and the CIA, it's like, you know, a lot of things are classified. It's kind of like it's sealed. And it's there for you to open it if you wanted the whole truth. It's available. It's not deleted. I quite like that. You know, just how even the situation with us going to Mars, like when you actually listen to him explain it, because I think one issue I find with the world is a lot of things are like hearsay. A lot of things are like he said, she said, like when you actually go to the source and you listen to the actual person, you're like, oh my God, because Chinese whispers, by the time it gets to you, it's being diluted so many times. People have added their perception, their this, their that, and the truth is now like filtered or diluted.
Mhm.
But when you go to the original source, actually, I don't remember what he said about Mars, but he talks about something like the whole world thinks we have a population problem in terms of like we're too much. But he's like, I actually believe we are not enough. We're not enough. And we need to do something about it, like ASAP. But 100, almost 99% of the world is like we're overpopulated. And he's part of the 1% who's saying, no, we actually have an underpopulation issue. And he explains it with facts and with so much. And you're like, oh my God, how come we don't know that? And so I think one of the solution, if I'm wrong, is this Mars ID. Like there's a reason why he's thinking about that, you know? And a lot of people see him as one with foresight, because remember, like he's ahead of his age, because as I said, when kids were playing, he was looking into statistics. He was looking into like things that are beyond him. So he's really good in terms of like foresight, apparently. You know, and this is like every interview I watch, people talk about his foresight and how he's been able to like project into the future. And we're not necessarily seeing it yet, but he seems to be so like, he's like, it's a sense, it's an intuitive sense that he gets. And believe you me, I went and checked out his human design. And he has his spleen is defined, so he's a very intuitive person, like very intuitive.
Oh, that's what you said. You checked out his human design.
Yeah. I was like, me,
yeah, of course.
Because I was like, wow, this guy, like, I need to know what's his human design, because he's very like unique, very, very interesting human being. But yeah, he's a manifesting generator, which makes sense. He has the ability to initiate, he has the energy for it, you know. So it's just his design is made for who he's being right now. So yeah, but it's interesting.
Right.
It's interesting.
Yeah. Ooh, I would expect him to be a manifester, not a manifesting generator, but close.
If he was a manifester, it would be a bit of a problem, because he wouldn't have energy to execute most of the things that he wants to. But he's both. Right. So he actually has the energy to execute as well as initiate, which is so interesting.
Right. Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. Okay, so here's the thing that I sense intuitively about Elon. When he talks, or maybe it was just a bad day, because again, I don't know about any of these topics. I don't know about Mars. I don't want to go to Mars, and that's it. Kill me. I don't want to go to Mars.
I'm kind of like, we're struggling to look after Earth, and we want to go elsewhere and like screw it up. Let's focus on how to work on Earth first.
Right. Right. So I don't want any of that shit. Like, I don't like, and again, the technology thing, it's just, I know where I stand on those topics, and you could tell me anything about it, but I'm not going to Mars. I'll die with the Earth and go back into the soil if there's any left. Same with like Tesla. I would not drive those cars. So for my own reasons, whatever. Yeah, I believe that like powering cars with batteries, whatever. It's a touchy subject. I'm actually Teresa's here. Teresa. Oh my God. Every time, man, I'm so excited to see people here. Okay, Teresa's here. She's commenting. She says, I can definitely agree with you guys. Musk has an amazing mind and is so successful, but the whole Mars and transhumanism creeps me out. But at the same time, I can see that he really does believe it's a good thing. I just strongly disagree that it's a good thing. Yeah, I would have to say I agree. But I agree. And I think that's an important point to make, that there's something to be said about who he is. And then there's some, and like how he makes decisions. That phrase keeps coming up for me. Who he is, how he makes decisions versus what he wants to do with who he is and how he makes decisions.
Exactly. They're like two different things. And I mean, where he's going is how he explains it. It makes sense. But to us, who's kind of down here, because I kind of feel like he's like very ethereal. I don't know. I see him as I see him as an alien. To me, he's an alien.
I know.
And so very soon, I think he's predicting 2030, bringing like robots to be in homes, and he's gonna make it so cheap that we have robots in homes, like in the movies, robots
fuck that
for us and stuff like that. I think about it and I'm like, do I want a robot in my home? But I also recognize that that's where the future is. So it's like, it's kind of like the same thing. I know it's inevitable, because it's kind of like we're all gonna die. There are going to be robots. So it's like, I know right now I don't have the power to stop it. So it's kind of like, okay, if I don't have the power to stop it, how can I educate myself about it? So at least I know where we're headed, instead of like being oblivious to the fact that I don't want robots. They're coming, whether we like it or not. He started developing it. They are coming.
Right. So other people are going to decide shit on this earth. Like, other people are going to decide things. But for me, I don't want the robots, and I'm not going to have the robots. Again, kill me. Like, I'm not going to have the robots. Sorry, that's intense, but like, that's where my viewpoint lands with this. And you know how I am, depending on who's listening to this, you may or may not know my vibe. I will live in a tent in the woods and be like way happier. You know what I'm saying? Some people are like, fuck that, I'm not living in the woods, so I'll take the robot. I will live in a fucking tent in the woods and live off the land with my husband, and he'll hunt. So so it's just not happening. It's just not happening. And I would also say that as I gain power in this world, I would put together organizations to be like, hey, did you know this about robots that maybe Elon isn't telling you? Did you know that you have other options if you want other options? Basically, like, I think there is something, I'm not a political person, but I think there's something to be said about raising awareness on topics and like telling what I think my truth is. And if anyone else vibes with that, then come along. But otherwise, I also believe in like live and let live. So like, don't try to tell me that what I need to have. And I don't know if Elon is doing that or not. The way he is, it sounds like he's not.
He's not. So it's interesting, because how he's thinking about it is, how do we increase labor? Like, how do we do things that, for instance, are making the human body rest? So what about this heavy manual? Like, why don't we just get robots to do it instead of us having to lift these heavy things in a factory and stuff? Why do humans have to do it when we can build machines to do it? I get that. I get where he's coming from. But at the same time, also, I've heard, a lot of conspiracy theorists, and even in movies, how robots take over because we give them so much power, so much so that it gets to a point where they take over. I don't know. But his reasoning behind it makes sense. But does the actual idea make sense? I think that's the struggle with him.
That's the thing. And okay, let's definitely get into this. I really want to take the conversation here with Elon. We talked about how we had no idea what was going to come up today, and what the fuck came up? Like, we're talking about Elon Musk.
Exactly. And for me, when we're talking about a person who's delusional, I think he's right up there. He wants to go
on brand. You're so right.
I think I can't think of any other person who's more delusional.
You're so right. Here's the thing, you guys. Live your life intuitively, and everything will make a lot more sense in hindsight. You know what I'm saying? Exactly. That is, every fucking time we come on here, we have no idea what the fuck we're doing. We just talk. Every single time it's on brand. Every single time, without us even trying. Ida's gonna go pee. Okay, so you guys, this is great. I can put this out there because Ida
Yeah.
maybe, it's great if Ida's here, but Ida doesn't have to be here for this part. So wait, what's up, Ida? Okay.
I was saying I won't belong.
Oh, okay, perfect. Okay, so the robot thing. It sounds like Elon isn't trying to make me do shit, and that's fine. Like, so if Elon wants robots, just keep your robots over there and don't let them take over the world. So that's my issue. Like maybe they do take over the world, then that gets into my boundaries. Like, do what you want, have your robots, and like I don't give a fuck. You know, like if New York City is run by robots, fine. I'll go live in Montana, or I'll stay in Michigan. I do enjoy Michigan. Or somewhere weird in Canada. Or I think I would thrive in Alaska, you guys. Okay. So like, I don't care if there's like certain parts of the world where people are doing a lot of stuff that I don't agree with, fine. Like, do your thing. I don't feel the need to control places that I don't want to be in. But if okay, Teresa says yes, yurt life. That's what I'm talking about. I'm living in a yurt, baby. I'm gonna find myself a survivor husband. Okay, so but if these things that I don't agree with start affecting my area, like if the robots start to take over my environment, then we have a big problem. So that's why I have an issue with this. Like I guess I'm kind of libertarian in and I think libertarian it means something different in Australia and Ghana, right?
I don't even know what it means. Enlighten me.
Okay. Libertarian means something different in Europe rather than the States. But libertarians still vote. I think libertarians believe in some sort of government, but the basic principles are like, you do what you want to do and I'll do what I want to do, and I'm not going to tell you what to do, and I'm not going to like liberals are trying to control the other side, conservatives are trying to control the other side, libertarians are like you do what you want to do, I do what I want to do. Like I said, I don't know much about politics, so I think there's a lot more details there, but that is my mentality when it comes to other people's decisions. Do what the fuck you want, I'll do what I want. But little things that I think that could affect me, like if you're trying to force me to do something, if you're trying to force me to get a vaccine, if you're trying to force me to have robots, then we have a problem. And then I do kind of get a little bit, I guess, stereotypically political, because I start to get in once in a while I'll get in other people's business like this. I don't give a shit if other people have robots, but if the robots take over the world and it comes into my boundaries, then we have a problem. And if we're going too far in that direction where it's uncontrollable, then we have a problem. So I guess as we get closer to that, I would feel the need to speak out about it because I want to protect my area. And I guess that's what every fucking person is trying to do. Also in politics, they're trying to protect their area. I just don't think that other people's sexual identification is infiltrating my boundaries. Like my kids will make their decisions, I will make my decision, and you make your decision, you know? And I also don't believe that, like, whatever. Okay, so we're getting probably further into that than I want to, but that's my vibe there with Elon. Okay, so now this is what I want to talk about. This is where I want to take the conversation. Right. When I witnessed Elon on Joe Rogan, first of all, hilarious. Have you seen any of that interview?
No.
It's awkward and so funny. Like I was laughing so much. It's just weird because this is what I love about successful people. They're very authentic and they will not back down. Like they don't give a fuck. They don't give a fuck. Like they will be themselves. And they don't care if it's awkward. They're going to be authentic no matter. They're not going to pretend shit. So Joe Rogan's doing that and he's holding his ground, and Elon is doing that and he's holding his ground. And there's this silence, and the camera keeps going from Elon to Joe to Elon, and it's silent. And it's, to me, that's hilarious. Like the nerd in me is like loving that. Okay. But what I observed with Elon, it sounded like he was acting several times, like poorly acting several times. Like I was like,
it's a condition. It's actually a condition. So every time you see him, he will be like that. It's actually, I don't know if I mentioned the condition properly, but that's actually who he is in real life. It would seem like
he has autism.
Asperger's.
Asperger's. Yeah. Okay.
Asperger's. Is it Burgers or Burgess?
I don't know.
It's
okay.
It's so I don't know much about that, but I also know because every video I've seen of him, he's the same. It seems like he's acting, but that's just like, that's him. That awkward, weird, that's actually him.
Okay. I gotta watch videos of it because it does seem like he went in and out of it. Like in some moments it was totally normal.
Let me let you land. That's actually something that I'm, learning. So let me let you land. Let me let you finish your thought.
Oh, okay. So what I saw was him being totally like, and I say normal, what I would be used to as a guest on Joe Rogan. Like everyone he has on is weird. I mean, because they're all authentic. People who are truly authentic are we see them as weird because they're not trying to be somebody. And they're eccentric, obviously. Again, successful people. If you're authentic, you're kind of eccentric in your own way, blah blah blah. So he was just like being, eccentric and weird. But then like the topic changed to AI, and he was talking about how he was really against AI in the conversation. And he was like, yeah, and I told them that they shouldn't do it and they were going to do it. And it's like he switched to like this monologue vibe.
Yeah, I gotta watch this interview.
You gotta watch it, or maybe I can find a clip for you if you don't want to watch the whole thing, but it's in the first, like, because I only watched the first half hour, so it's in like the first half hour. But and then even Joe was like, I feel like I'm in a movie right now, like stop it. So whatever you're doing, stop it. So unless Joe didn't know that that's part of his condition, which that would suck if he didn't and he said that. But
let me actually watch that too before because I think maybe what I'm thinking is not what you're talking about, because if he was actually going in and out and like
for sure going in and out, for sure.
I'm gonna watch it and we can talk about it at the start of next week.
Okay, great. And again, I don't know if maybe it is his condition to go in and out of it, but I was thinking this and I was like, this is crazy. To be honest, I thought he had autism. So but even that, I was like, this is weird. Like there is this moment here that's weird, but I just thought, okay, I don't know, like maybe he is like that. And then Joe was like, I feel like I'm in a movie. Stop it. What are you doing? So it was just this weird moment. Okay. But to all of this being said, it's bringing me back to, I feel like he's trying to pull one over on us because he's so smart. He's so smart. I can't comprehend how smart he is. People who are so smart, I can't comprehend how smart they are. I don't know what they're trying to do to me. I can't see it. I can't see it because their level of planning is so, it's kind of like, maybe that's why the term sociopath did come up earlier, because it's kind of like, I don't even know where I am not on the level he's at. So I don't know where he's going to come at me. And so I don't trust him with any fiber of my being, but that's also why I don't trust politics. I don't trust any politician with any fiber of my being. Why would I? So like, that's just kind of who I am. It's not like I think that nobody should trust him. I don't know that much about him, but what I have seen of him intuitively, I'm like, man, I don't think that you have all the answers for me. Like, I'm really unsure if you have my interest in mind. But Ida, like I think let me I'll say one more thing and then I want to flip it to you. But even these comments about, even no, even his storytelling about how he's sleeping on the floor when his employees are in there, and even if that's true, which sure, like I'm not gonna say that it's not true or whatever. Let's just say it's 100% true, and his employees show up and say, "Yep, that's exactly what happened," and he has video surveillance of that. I know that he knows that if he says that, it makes him very likable, whether it's true or not, or embellished or not, or created because of that or not. Like, he is smart. He is really smart. So I know that, like, even I know that. Like, I know that if I say, you know what, yes, this project was amazing and beautiful, but here's how we struggled, and I was in there with my employees, I know that makes me more likable. Like, I know that makes people be like, oh, you just melt. So to me, I'm like, I don't know what he is, I'm missing the word again. I don't know what he is fabricating or like creating intentionally, or what is just him. It's my same problem with politicians or any other powerful person in the world. So Ida, I'll flip it to you. What are your thoughts on this?
No, it's very interesting, because every time I've watched him, and that's why I don't use one video to form an opinion about someone. Like, I use different angles.
That's probably good advice.
I use different angles, and like, I've listened to the mom, the brothers, like different people around him, just to have a better understanding of who this person is. And in his defense, I think it would be different if he came out and he's like, yeah, this is what I did. I slept on the blah, blah, blah. But he had to say that to defend what the interviewer was saying, because the interviewer was bringing something like, oh, but that was a wrong decision, right? But that, like, pushing that agenda. And that's where he revealed that, hey, no, it actually wasn't, because it got to a point where it was this, and I needed to do this in order to come out of it, and for me, it was the most genuine thing. And I think a lot of people who have experienced him share the same sentiment of, like, him being genuine. However, I'm not dismissing the fact that, yes, he could be pulling one over, on us. Yeah. He could be. We don't know. I think for me, I go with what I know now of you. Like, look at us. We're great. I don't know what the future holds, but right now I know that we're great. You understand? But it's kind of like if someone asked me, oh, what do you think about We're great. We work well together. We're incredible. To me, she's genuine. She's that. Like, anything beyond that, I don't even allow myself to go there, because right here, right now, what I feel is what I believe and what I trust. And so from all the times that I've listened to him, one thing I know is I love his mind. I love his perspective on life. And I love, one thing I really love about him, and I love this a lot about people who own up to their mistakes. People who are able to say, no, I screwed up. Easily, without, like, being defensive or anything. But literally, majority of the interviews I've seen of him, you catch him in a lie, you catch him somewhere, he's like, yeah, I did it. I'm like, I haven't seen him trying to defend or be defensive. Like, he's always like, yeah. I mean, it could also be that when you have a lot of money, you could do whatever you want, really. But I think there's something about him that I quite like. And I trust that. Yeah. As I said, it's not him taking us to Mars that I'm trusting, but there's just something about him as a person that I seem to feel at ease knowing that he owns Twitter. Yeah. As opposed to someone else. And I guess that's because I've spent at least about a year, and I've seen at least minimum 10 videos from different perspectives and different angles to kind of form this safety. Because for me, in human design, I'm a 4-1. Before I can trust someone, I need to do deep research. I need to know about the person. I need to, like, I don't just go in once and be like, hey, I trust this person. Like, a lot of things need to add up for me to have that safety within myself. And so, yeah, I've taken the time to kind of research about him well enough that right now, in this moment, right now, I feel safe knowing that he has that much money. I feel safe knowing that he's the head of Twitter. Like nothing's come up that's kind of like for me yet. It doesn't mean nothing will come up. Listen, tomorrow I could be changing my mind about him, but right here, right now, this is how I feel about him. It's just like an intuitive thing, just like you. So we both get to trust it, because at the end of the day, he might be safe for me, but he might not be safe for you.
Yeah, totally. I love it. Yeah, and that's the thing. Like, I would say I my opinions can change when I look into stuff more, but also my initial intuition is usually pretty good. Like, what often happens is with just people, civilians too, and Teresa, I'll read your comments after this, but even with civilians, I'll kind of have an intuition about them and be like, don't judge. And I do believe that it's important not to judge, because once in a while I am wrong, just being a human. But I get this intuition, but I'm like, don't judge, get to know them more. I get to know them more, and I'm like, okay, they're growing on me. I like this. For in the end, same shit as what I felt from the beginning, you know? So sometimes people can grow on me and I go in and out, but sometimes I am wrong and I'm like, wow, I had that intuition, but really, no, this person's legit. That Amanda can't go on episode with that. Amanda Francis was one of those people for me. I bring up Amanda Francis every single one of our episodes. She is in here.
I hope she knows that, because it seems like she's left a mark on you, and it's a good one.
Oh, biggest role model ever, like biggest role model ever. But I kind of judged her as just being like a girly girl, which I guess she is. But she's very cool too. She's very badass too. Okay, but yeah, I usually go off of my initial reactions. But like I said, my opinion on someone, I love how you, or like you said, Ida, our opinions can be both correct for ourselves and what we need and all that, and how we would respond to things. And, you know, okay, Teresa, that's so interesting. My brother-in-law has Asperger's, and he also has the same cadence of almost performative way of talking. Okay, so it could be the Asperger's. Everybody watch the just first 15 minutes, 20 minutes of Joe Rogan with Elon, if you're open to it, because I'd love to hear what you think. Okay, because he is. So Teresa's brother-in-law has Asperger's, and he also has the same cadence of an almost performative way of talking, because he's learning normal social cues and normal cadence, and certain topics are more natural to him, so he doesn't have that weird way of speaking about it. So there you go.
Yeah,
maybe he wasn't.
It's something that, because I've noticed the same thing in every video. He seems to like,
okay,
and the last one I watched of him, he talked about it. He's like, you know, as a kid, I was bullied a lot because I didn't have the same social cues as everybody. I didn't really understand, like, so I spent majority of the time programming in my bedroom. So I think for me, it kind of gives me an idea into the kind of person he is. He's not like everybody else. And so I think we can kind of look at him and be like, wow, that's weird. That's awkward. But that's who he is.
Yeah.
And I think it brought me at ease, because the first time I watched anything about him, I was like, you know, I mean, he's naming his child, like he didn't even understand, like naming his child XY, like, you know, these Roman numerals. To him, it's a very, you know.
Oh, so I didn't know that.
Yeah, he named his child, now the short form of the name is X, but it's a Roman numeral or something. X, Y. No, it's a mathematical, it's a formula.
It's pretty cool.
In math. Yeah, so it's like
pretty awesome.
X, I, Y, something, and to him, it's such a, like, it's, why don't people get it? That's right? My child's name. But people are like, no, you can't name your child that. And so, but now
that's the thing where I'm like, don't you dare tell me how I can name my child. Like, to me, that's, do your thing, man.
But it's kind of like,
But it's,
imagine the school system, because they're like, okay, how do we pronounce that? Like, what do we do with this name?
yeah.
If you're naming your child ABCD in the school, like at school, are we going to call your child, hey, ABC, So for him, he's like, okay, well, just X for short. So the
Yeah.
child is
Well,
called
X,
X.
and that's actually an awesome name.
Yeah.
Like X, I don't know. I like the name of that. Okay.
Yeah. So
I'd Do you have any final words on Elon before I change the subject?
yeah, no, so I was gonna say, so yeah, I think that's what makes him come out that way, but he kind of grows on you, not from perspective like grow on you, but from like ease. Because I think whenever something is different from us, it puts us unease, because it's like, what is this? But once you realize that, oh, that's actually who he is, and it makes it a bit. And the last thing I kind of want to say about him is, there was a powerful question that, because again, this particular interview, I don't know what his agenda was, but he asked the question around, okay, how do you envision the world X is going to grow up in? Which I thought is so profound, because the world he's building is for X. He's got children. And so it's kind of like he's wanting a world that could be safer and better for his children, as well as the whole world. And so I quite like how he answered. And I think he earned a brownie point there for me, because how he answered it, it was like very, I can't remember and quoting word for word, but it was something along the lines of like, this is actually what drives me, because I envision a world where my son is growing up in, and I hope that it's a safe one, and it's one that has all the resources and everything that, children need to be able to thrive. And so that's kind of what drives me. And I was like, okay. Because he could have totally answered that differently. But for me, again, something that puts me at ease is like, this man is controlling or making decisions for a world that his children are going to be living in. Unless he transports them to Mars, that's a different story. He could. He could.
Right.
He could. But yeah, those are like my, my
Fascinating.
Yeah.
Okay. So
Mm-hmm.
you did your first Instagram live in 3 years yesterday, and it was a very intimate topic.
Yes, I did.
How do you feel about that?
Yeah, no, I feel good. I'm glad that I did it. It was actually something that I've been meaning to do for a while. So I'm actually glad that I did. Obviously, it was a battle. The whole day was a battle. The whole day, like, because everything in me is like, no, let's not do it. Because obviously, I know that once I did that, as I talked about in the live, like a new octave is coming through, and I knew that was kind of like the door to it. And so I knew the responsibility that comes with doing that live, because I can't go back now. I knew doing that live was gonna position me, as I don't want to say a leader, but more so a messenger, someone carrying this message that sparks the message in others. So it's kind of like, the person who gets to go forth first, the person with the message to deliver that allows, other people to deliver theirs. So I kind of knew that, it carried weight. But I also knew that it needed to be done, because a lot of people, whether they talk about it or not, now I know a lot of people are in that situation too, where they feel that their voice have been stolen from them, and they don't know how to kind of reclaim it, or they are reclaiming it from, a place that isn't serving them. They are reclaiming it from, there was a word I was looking for yesterday, it didn't come up, and I didn't want to be caught up on it, but distractive, that's a word. destructive ways of trying to reclaim their voice. As I said, it doesn't necessarily mean that it's a good or bad thing. It's just a matter of, is it serving you or is it holding you back? So yeah, in terms of how I feel good about it. I feel ready. As I said, it's the same as you, when you ask for something, because I'm asking for a platform, I'm asking, that's basically like, I know that the platform is there, and for a while I've seen it there. I just haven't walked up the stage, and now I've walked up the stage and I've taken the mic, and I'm like, okay, speak through me. Like I'm gonna go first. I'm gonna be the messenger. So I've stepped up in this way, and I know that there's no going back. And so right now it's a matter of like making, $1 million decisions along the way, just to make it make sense, because we were talking about $1 million before. And I think for me, my journey is not so much like, I have a journal that I've kind of journaled in, and I'm like, my $1 million journey, blah, blah, blah. I've come to realize that for me, it's not so much about the $1 million. It's about, the middle. It's about getting, it's about who I'm becoming as I'm delivering this message. And so that's where my heart is at right now. I do know that my going first, or going forth, or actually picking up the mic will be rewarded. And I'm open to that. But right now, I think for me, my concern is more around having the courage, the strength, the wisdom to be able to make decisions moment by moment. And these decisions are decisions that, as I make for myself, I'm making for others too, because every time I show up, it's calling other people to show up too. So every time I don't show up, other people don't show up. One might be like, okay, what makes you think that you're the person to carry that? I've known for a long time. And I think when a vision is on your heart, it keeps me up at night. Like, this is not something that I can be like, yeah, I'm not going to do anymore. I'm going to do something else. No, this is what it is. The only thing I know is that it's not about me wanting to change someone. It's about me changing myself and me going forward. So the journey really is about Ida going forth and delivering this message, right? That's what it's about. It's about me being able to deliver this message that's in me, that is being revealed as and when, the more I trust and have faith and explore and walk in my curiosity. And as I do that, it's almost like I am being observed. And the more I'm observed, it's calling people to climb on the stage as well. So just envision it as, I walked up first, picked up the mic. As I'm speaking, other people are walking onto the stage, ready to pick up their own mics and speak. And I think for me, that's a vision that I see, and it's one that's going to require so much courage, strength, wisdom, but I'm ready.
Love it. Wow, that's awesome. I mean, that alone is inspiring to us. And how you describe, I love, what the fuck is this theory that you have of like this millionaire decisions, and God, you could create an entire group coaching community course out of that intention. I just think that's awesome. And I haven't really heard that so authentically before. Maybe people say like, make your $1 million decisions, but it sounds like fucking bullshit when other people say it. But Ida says it also in different words, but different energy, and it's coming from Ida. And I'm like, this is so pragmatic, yet dreamy, and yet spiritual and magical. I love this approach that you have to life. And I haven't heard you deliver that, at least with this energy, before. So I'm really quite appreciating that. that's what I thought when I saw your live yesterday. I was there. Guys, go to the Chilling Therapist and check out the replay. You posted the replay, right?
I did.
Okay, check it out. I was crying. Like I had a wad, like I had like a pile of tissues next to me crying. It's a very powerful story. And here's the thing, I connected with that story a lot. And as you're saying, you know that. You know that the people who are watching will. So like we have their emotional response, like connecting to Ida, perhaps, but we also have the emotional response because who does not identify with that? Everybody will identify with that, and you recognize that, and that's why you knew that, okay, if I'm going to come out and do this, I know that I'm going to be kind of an example for that, and people are going to connect with that. I'm wondering why you don't want to say leader. Like, why do you feel like more of a messenger in this context rather than a leader?
Yeah, that's a good question. That's a very good question. That's a very good question. It's not one that I've processed.
Like, and is there a difference between a messenger and a leader?
Yeah, I think definitely. I mean, when we look at angels, so okay, an example is like, let's just look at angel Gabriel, for instance. I don't know. I know you're not biblical like that, but I know you don't mind,
No.
concept. Yeah. So we look at, for instance, let's look at angel Gabriel as a messenger. So and let's look at Jesus as a leader of a revolution, so I kind of feel like as a messenger, my job is not to change people's perspective. My job is not to change, but my job is almost like a reminder. So for instance, every time an angel appears in the Bible, their job is like they deliver a message, but that message reminds people of God's original promise to them. Right?
Mm-hmm.
But I'm seeing a leader from, okay, let's say Jesus, and Jesus is here to deliver a message, all right? But it's like, I am the way, the truth, and the light. No one goes to the Father except through me. Like, this is the way type thing, right? See, I'm not here to be like, this is the way, because I kind of feel like leaders come and they're like, this is the way, follow me. No, mine is mine is more like I'm the messenger who is delivering a message to you to connect you to what you already know.
Yeah.
You understand? So just like what you said, how you experienced the live, where it's like, what I'm saying is nothing new. It's like my job is to rekindle that fire within you. That's how I see my role. But I rekindle that by first rekindling mine. Because it's like I have to deliver my message. And as I deliver my message, that rekindles your message. As you deliver your message, it rekindles another person's message. So it's like a snowball kind of effect. That's how I see the vision. That's how I see my path. I don't see it as, hey, I know this thing, follow me.
Yes.
That's not how.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I want to respect how you see yourself. I'm going to make that clear first. And I say this to everybody, but you know best for you. Like that's to you, Ida, in this moment, and everybody else. You know best. I don't know best for you. So I'm gonna say that. But follow-up question. But aren't you're starting this ripple effect. So doesn't that mean you're leading? Like I get the whole I love what you say, really, about if you're a leader, you're kind of saying in some respect, this is the way. And I was gonna say, well, no, because I tell people like do what you want. So that's and I would see myself as a leader, but that's like how I lead, do what you want. But there is kind of a vibe in how I talk that's like, yeah, you can like do this other way, but this is the way I teach. You know what I'm saying? So it's the way I teach. I don't think it's the only way to get shit done, but it's the best way. That's kind of like my vibe when I talk to my audience. Like I don't think less of you if you're doing that way, but like I know that this way is the best for me, and I don't really think that other ways are the best.
Mm-hmm. So
I agree with that.
Go on.
So I agree with that. But I mean, if were you going to look up the definition of leader?
Of course, you know how I am with words.
Of course. I love that you incorporate that in. Yeah. I was just going to say we should look up the definition because it could also be like, you know, you're a leader in a line. It could be as deep or as superficial as you want. You could just literally, if you're the first one to go, you're the leader, even if you're not saying my way is the best way, but like you're the first one to go. So curious about that.
So I don't think for me it has anything to do. I think words carry great power and energy, right? So for me right now, the energy I'm operating from, I know it's one of a messenger. It's not one of a leader per se. Okay. And so right here, right now, other people could refer to me as a leader, and that's fine. There's nothing wrong with it. But in order for me to operate in the message that's coming through, I need to receive it how it's coming through. And it's an energy of a messenger. It's not coming through as an energy of a leader. It's very grounded. It's not like, I mean, how I view it, a leader, for instance, yesterday in my life would be like, you know, will offer some steps, will offer directions, but I come from still that very objective of there's this or that, like where are you sitting? Like I can't tell you what to do. That's like the energy that's coming through. And so I haven't even looked up the definitions yet, but I thought, why not? Okay, so a leader is a person who leads or commands a group, organization, or country. That's the first one. Second, it says the principal player. Wait, where did that go? Okay, the person or team that is winning a sporting competition at a particular time. An organization or company that is most advanced or successful in a particular area. The principal player in a music group. What else? Okay, this is from main Google. Let me see what other people, like try and find another definition.
Yeah, I'm waiting for the definition that's like, just like technically somebody who goes first, you know, without any deeper meaning.
This could be what you're looking for, but I also feel like this definition is from the mind. Like it's very mind definition. It's not a proper definition from like the dictionary.
Right.
So it says a leader is someone who inspires passion and motivation in followers. A leader is someone with a vision and the path to realizing it. So it's like the leader has the answer. They have the vision and they have the answer. That's how I see it. Because how I even see you, it's kind of like you're like, your answer is do it your way. Right? But you have the vision and you're leading a revolution of people and you're telling them do it your way because that's the answer. The answer is your way. And I'm coming in like, this is how I did it. this is how I felt about it. I wonder how you want to do it and how you feel about it. And that's why I'm saying I think the energy is different, because I'm not one that people should come to and be like, oh, so what's next? Or, you know, I'll tell you what I think, but it's always going to be objective. I'm never going to have a solid, and a lot of people describe me as very objective. I'm never going to have one answer. I'm never going to have a particular answer for you that this is what it is. It's always going to be, well, there's this side, but there's also this side. I wonder which side feels good for you, but I kind of feel like a leader is like, yeah, you know, all this side, all these other sides haven't worked due to X, Y, Z. This is what's going to work. And so if you want to achieve success, this is the way. Do whatever you want. You know, so even though they're doing whatever they want, you're the one leading that for them. You're the one holding the, you know, the fire and saying, come on, this is where we're going. We're the people who do whatever we want.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And I feel like I'm kind of like, okay, now that, because for me, it's about, okay, now you're hearing. I think for me, what's important is, and that's in my bio, it says, what message are you carrying? Like, you're hearing me sharing my messages, that inspiring you to go and share your message, because that's what I hope it's doing. Like, it's not about you, you know, doing X, Y, Z to get to X. It's about you sharing your message too. And it could be in a form of, okay, jump on a live. Someone reach out to me. They're like, hey, I've been meaning to share my story. I haven't done it in a long time. You shared yours and it inspired me. Would you be on a live with me to share mine? For me, that is a messenger's purpose. Like, that for me means everything, because I'm like, oh my God, you get to share your message with your audience. Fine, you want me by your side, but it's your message. I'm not saying anything. It's your audience. It's not about me. I'm just there to kind of be there to support you to do that. And for me, that's incredible. I don't have anything. I'm pretty indifferent about the word leader. I think why I'm not using that word is because of just the energy. So let's look at messenger.
I totally get that. And I see that in you. I see you in my mind, not that you asked, but in my mind, I'm like, Ida's a leader because she's an entrepreneur, period. You know, not that I say you're wrong. That's just how
okay, that's how you see me. Because I was gonna say, I don't even identify as an entrepreneur. There's something about the word that doesn't feel good for me yet, which is interesting. Have you ever heard me use that word?
No. And I've been calling both of us an entrepreneur for a long time.
Fine. That's fine. Because that's how you see me, and you're allowed to see me how you see me. You're allowed to experience me how you experience me. You know, I don't believe that everyone's going to experience me how I experience myself. Like, if someone asked me, I might identify as an artist, because I do a bit of everything. But I'm not into, when I think about an entrepreneur, I think about someone who builds businesses, or like, you know, they have their own business and stuff. But for me, it's like being this creative artist, and I get to make money from it. That's great. That feels better for me than entrepreneur, but doesn't mean go change it, because that's how you experience me, and that's totally fine.
I do feel like we should change it, because I think that's beautiful, and people should know that. Like, people should know that you want to be, you would describe yourself as an artist rather than an entrepreneur, right? Definitely. For the sake of this podcast, and just as how I describe you to people. Like, oh, Ida, yeah, she's a therapist and she's an artist, or she's just an artist.
Yeah. No, it's interesting. Whether we changed it or not, that's the thing. I'm always checking with myself, and I'm like, do I care? I'm indifferent. So because I'm indifferent, I don't mind what goes there, because I don't think that affects anything really. I think at the end of the day, it's me, Ida, and how people are experiencing me, because a lot of people will experience me as one will experience me as an artist, some will experience me as a leader, some will experience me as an entrepreneur. Again, that is the messages they're getting. They're getting exactly what they need. But you know me, I'm always open to hearing your side, because if I wasn't open to hearing your side, funnily enough, we'll still be on Instagram trying to figure shit out. But I'm like, no, this is still XYZ. And I thought about it and I'm like, you know what? Yeah, she's right. And here we get both of the best worlds. We're streaming, but this is still personal. I'm only seeing your face. I'm not seeing anyone else. I'm not seeing comment, scroll up.
I like this vibe too. I'm glad that you do as well. And let's for those we don't have haters on this. Well, actually we do. We have already gotten haters on this podcast, but which I think is a great sign, by the way. But for future watchers who might be hating and who may say, why is Emily spending time trying to tell Ida who she is? I'm not doing that. I'm just telling Ida how she resonates with me. Okay, so I just want to make that super clear. And I'll also say Ida tells me how she sees me all the time. And yes, she's nodding, so that's a good sign. And like when I see a certain situation, I kind of learned this from you. Like you'll be like, you'll say like, oh, that's interesting because the way I saw that was like this. And I'm like, wow, you really make me tune into like the difference between how I see myself and how others see me. And to me, that has been very healing to me. And the purpose of me is not to try to heal you by saying this at all. It's literally just common interest. Generally, I think it's interesting how I see you. And here's the thing, I do see you as a messenger as well. That's what I'm getting to. But I like, so from the sole reason that you don't have a boss, I see you, and maybe I don't, maybe it's not entrepreneur even, but I see you as like a self-employed person. And because, and you would say that you would see yourself as self-employed.
110%.
Okay. Because of that, I see you as a leader, because who else is leading you? Ida's leading Ida in my mind. But here's the thing. So that aside, really, I just wanted to make that point because I'm just like, I know Ida's going to start movements. And in my eyes, it's like, if she's starting movements, then she's the leader of that movement. But that aside, I see you embodying this messenger role or being the messenger here. Yesterday, I saw it. I also like the fact that you said messenger, not leader, didn't surprise me. I just wanted to hear about more about that decision. Because I just see that, because I know how you are in what I've experienced of you so far, and we've talked about this several times. You channel so much. You're an open channel for whatever words that want to come through you. You say it. You said it on this podcast before. I say words. I don't remember what I say necessarily. They often don't make sense to you when you say the words, even though they always make sense to me. And that's always been our vibe. Together. So like the messenger thing doesn't surprise me at all. Like, and I get it. It's the energy of it. It's like, this is where I feel like my energy is right now. My energy isn't in the leadership. What I'm doing right now is in the energy, is in the messenger energy. So that makes a lot of sense to me too.
Yeah, no, I hear that. And I wanted to say one, and that's the beauty of feeling each other's energy, because whenever you say stuff, it comes across exactly how you mean it and feel it. So it's like, you don't even need to explain yourself to future haters, because I'm receiving it exactly how you mean for me to receive it. So I just wanted to make that clear. And secondly, obviously you were experiencing me in the live. How was that experience for you?
Personally, or how did I see you in the live?
Both.
Okay. Well, okay, let me say this. I do feel like I want to explain myself sometimes, but not for your sake, Ida, because I know that we vibe and we're very open. So if you didn't vibe with me, I know you'd tell me that. And I would hope that you would just tell me that live if you wanted to. In public or whatever feels right to you. But I do want to explain, because here's the thing, I'm observing people that have millions of views on their podcast episodes on YouTube. And I believe that with my mindset work and with our energy here, I don't think that we'll be obliterated in the comments, but I just know that the internet can be fucking rough as fuck. So I know that in the end, and you know how my brain works. So I'm like, when Ida and I are doing this podcast in person in a professional studio and we have 11 million views on each episode, I know that I'll be saving my time by explaining that rather than having to go back and be like, you guys, Ida and I have this vibe. For the random ass people that are coming on here that are just seeing me say that, or maybe they skip to this and they're like, what are you doing? Like, why are you trying to tell her that? Because people say that. I've been reading their comments on other people's shit to like kind of study. And I'm like, it's going to save me time to just be like, look, this is where Ida and I is coming from. Ida, are you consenting to this? Ida's vibing with it too. All right, let's go. I just feel like it cuts the shit out.
I hear you.
Okay, cool. But I appreciate that. I that means a lot to me, what you said about what I say comes off as I mean it. That's very relieving for me to hear. So I like that. I heard that too. Okay, so how did I receive you in the live? Oh God. I mean, it was just powerful. I commented while I was watching several times. I can't help myself.
I didn't see any of that. I
figured, but
yeah.
And it wasn't for, because I also didn't want to knock you off your game, because we've talked about it before, how sometimes during the lives it's like you try to keep up with the people and then you try to say your truth, and I didn't want to do any of that, but I can't help myself when I'm vibing. I have to type and be like, do you guys get how awesome this is? So it was really more for like just me and like the people watching, because I love that you stayed in the vibe the whole time. It was just purely powerful to me, all of it. Fuck, my computer's about to die, so we have to hop off soon, but real quick, yeah, it was powerful. I got emotional because I connected to it, but also seeing you so clearly communicate this experience, it was just all so authentic. There wasn't a part of me that's like, maybe she communicated this to someone before. No, this was like, it was so raw and real, and that alone made me emotional. And then how I personally connected to it made me emotional. And it was just, it was like a movie. It was like a movie, but real. Like watching you go through this. It's like those clips that you see that are like just like so many views, you know what I mean? And you're like, wow, this is the first time ever, that they're saying this, and it's powerful, and it gets so many views and it gets so famous because it's like such a special moment, Wow. That's how I saw it.
No, that's amazing, because in the moment, like I was so present in the moment, I didn't and I went back to watch it myself and I was like, oh wow, okay. Because I didn't, it's like one stream of consciousness and I just let it flow. So I did my best not to look into comments and stuff, and just share whatever was coming through. So yeah, no, right. It's amazing. I appreciate you being there supporting. It was so amazing. It's funny because when we first talked about it, you're like, I'm gonna jump on, and I was like, yeah, I don't know, it's just gonna be a random day. And I happened to message you, you're like, yeah, okay. It was amazing.
Of course, of course it totally worked out. Yeah. Okay, so I want to go now because my battery's low. I'm in my car. Zoom has to configure the recording, and I don't want my computer to die. If we lose this motherfucker, I'm not going to be happy. So I know. So I mean, it is on YouTube, so it will be recorded to YouTube, but like I want to make sure I can plug my computer in. So thank you. This was a fucking awesome episode for me personally, and I also objectively I think it was great. Thank you.
Yeah, no, definitely. Same. So yeah, no, thank you to our viewers. Who was he? Teresa. Thanks for being here with us. We appreciate you guys so much. I love you. Mwah.
I love you. Thank you, Ida, for being here with me. Thank you guys for being on.